The first question is, do you need to clip the wings of your chooks? Chickens don't tend to fly very high or very far at all, and many chooks will stay where they're put so long as they feel safe and are well fed. So my first recommendation is give them a chance before clipping their wings. You might not need to do anything at all. More often than not, what people find is that there's maybe just one very determined little Houdini in the group who needs their wings clipped. Or maybe you've got a particularly flighty breed. Heavy meat breeds really struggle to fly at all. They're really unlikely to try much. And then there's some breeds with sort of designer type feathers that physically cannot actually fly. So the little fluffy silky, for example. In saying that, the decision to clip is usually based on keeping them safe. If they can fly out of their run and into an area where the family dog is, then of course, clipping may be the best option for sure. But the reverse is also true, that a clipped hen will not be able to get away from predators easily. So many owners will take the approach of leave them able to fly in case a dog gets into where they live. All in all, it depends on your system, on your setup, and what's the higher risk, that they'll get out to where predators are, or where your veggie garden is, or that a predator might get into where they are. So long as you've got the means to keep them safe, clipping the wing is absolutely an option for you. All this to be said, it is frequently done incorrectly and with unrealistic expectations. So let's walk through a wee demo of exactly how to effectively clip the wings of your chooks. The first thing to understand is that when I say clip the wings, I am referring to multiple hens. In the individual bird, you are only clipping one wing to off-balance the bird. There are many chooks out there that if you clip both wings, they will learn to compensate by flapping harder. So just one side is all that needs to be done. Now, if we look at the feathers of the wing here, we can divide them into three different types. The primary flight feathers are these long ones at the tip of the wing here. These long flight feathers actually have a different shape to the others as well. They stretch out and grab the air, pulling it under the wing and creating that thrust. These are the feathers we are trimming. Without these, it is very difficult for them to get any traction. These ones back here are called the secondary flight feathers. They hold the air and create that lift. We don't touch these ones, all right? This is important. In only trimming the primary flight feathers, it means our chooks can still glide, down from the roost, for example, but they just can't get any lift. If we accidentally cut these secondary flight feathers, they can't glide. They will fall like a brick and are more likely to sustain injuries when they hit the hard ground. Things like foot infections called bumblefoot, or injuries of the chest, of the keel bone there. You'll notice these secondary flight feathers are shorter, they're fatter, they're actually a bit softer, and when the wing is folded, these are the ones that we're actually looking at. So trimming the primary flight feathers actually doesn't tend to look unsightly from the outside either. When they've got those wings tucked in, you can't even really tell. We've also got these beautiful tertial feathers right at the base of the wing here coming off the humerus, which won't affect us at all, and we are not going to touch those ones either. So have someone help hold the chook, burrito it if you like. That just means wrapping it nice and tightly in a kitchen towel so that its little head is covered too, if that helps. Sometimes it just offers a wee bit of sedation there. What I like to do is grasp the chook over the back with one hand firmly over at the top of each wing and turn it slowly over onto its back between your knees. They tend to actually lie here like this really easily. Even big roosters I have no issues with. And then you're going to pull just one wing out and trim only the primary flight feathers. And we're going to trim just a couple of centimetres above this nice line of smaller feathers that lie above the primaries. These are called the primary coverts. So just a couple of centimetres below the end of these is perfect. Trimming established feathers does not hurt your chook. They cannot feel it. Immature feathers have a blood supply and they can be bad news if you accidentally cut those. You can lose a fair bit of blood. And plucking feathers most certainly does hurt, but trimming the primary flight feathers does not. The handling is really the bigger issue, and if you've got a very fussy chook, they can hurt themselves if they're throwing themselves about. So make sure you're gentle but deliberate. Make sure you have the handling technique down well with both hands clasped tightly over the wings. Have someone help you if you need it. Alright, so that's us sorted. Just remember to keep your clipped hens safe. It does make for a heavy conscience if they are killed by a predator because they were unable to get away. so we need to make sure they're protected. And of course, remember, these feathers will grow back at the next molt. It is only a temporary solution. All right, guys, thanks for checking in. Good luck.